cop rapist, grandpa killer, Andrew Cuomo. That's right. And the Cuomo name in New York is a dynastic name. For those of you who don't know, Andrew Cuomo had tremendous name recognition. He immediately seized upon the Democratic Party machine politics in New York. He designed the New York State Democratic Party machine to his own desires, and yet none of that worked. Okay? It all failed. In spite of the fact that they dumped $30 million in ads to a dynastic name in New York politics with a sea of institutional Democrat endorsements that came in the aftermath, instead of the fact that the New York Times intervened and after claiming that they would not intervene in local elections, came out and did an anti-endorsement of Zohran Mamdani after the last week of endless fucking pro-Israel groups attacking Zohran Mamdani, calling him cynically an anti-Semite over and over again, demanding that everybody reveal, how quickly they would go to the big, beautiful state of Israel, even though that had nothing to do with becoming the mayor of New York. With a tremendous amount of racism and Islamophobia, Zohran Mamdani was able to destroy this major hurdle in the closed Democratic Party primaries in New York. Now, the reason why it's a closed Democratic primary and what that factors into this analysis is, or how this factors into this analysis, is that given that it was a closed Democratic Party primary, Andrew Cuomo should have clobbered. And he thought he would actually clobber this lesser known, young, dynamic, charismatic politician, right? They pulled out all the stops at the last second, okay, and they got destroyed. Why do you support terrorism? Then when someone calls you out, you throw fit like a child. Learn how to write, and then we can have this conversation again. Try it again. You throw a fit like a child. Anyway, Cuomo has name recognition, put almost 30 million. Adrian Adams outperformed Zohran in Williamsburg, by the way. Wait, what? Chad, what happens after the primary? Does he go up against a Republican candidate? Yes. But the Republican candidates are basically nice deflection, goofball, lol, you're a loser. There is no deflection here. Your position is not sustainable. No one agrees with you. You have to stay in the hug box. You have to stay in Reddit. You have to stay on Discord servers to basically keep fucking beefing up your position, to assume that there are other people who have who share your worldview. The idea that like anyone who speaks out against Israel is actually a fucking terrorist and loves terrorism, when in fact the average person's position on this is that Israel is the fucking terrorist here. Like it's over. Give it up. Try to figure out a new fucking route here. Trying to hit the "you love terrorism, you're a fucking terrorist" lines over and over again. Clearly, it didn't work last night. They tried that shit against Zohran. It didn't work. Young Muslim socialist candidate in New York City, overwhelmingly popular. Okay? Instead of coping, come up with a new way. Come up with a new line of attack. Go back to like liberal Zionism, for example, Something along those lines. You can't fucking do this whole like, oh, you're a terrorist, you love terrorism. Many people have tried for the past fucking year and a half. You got to stop. You got to stop. It don't work that way. It's not working. One must ask the question, why it's not working? Okay? Yeah, look at the New York Times quote. Remember this? Mr. Mamdani, a Democratic socialist, continues to embrace left-leaning views that have become less popular with voters in New York. What happened? Turns out it wasn't less popular with voters in New York. As a matter of fact, it wasn't less popular with the voters in New York at all. Yeah, instead of coping, try seething. Try something else for a while. I saw someone trashing socialist policies because more voters under 50K income per year voted for Cuomo more. Dog, 50K to 100K in the city of New York is literally under the fucking survival rate. Like the people that make 50K, like below 50K, is making no money. Like the number of people that are making below 50K in the in the city of New York is like, I suspect, a much smaller number than the 50K to 100K range. But also, who gives a shit? Zoran's policies actually directly target people who are making 50K in income. 0 to 50K includes pensioners. Yeah, that makes sense too. That actually makes a lot more sense when you look at like Andrew Cuomo's plus 19 performance. Zoran won Jeffries' district, Goldman's district. Like it's fucking over. Members of Congress that endorsed Andrew Cuomo, by the way, and we're going to talk about it all. But
in a shocking turn of events, Zoran Mamdani has declared victory in New York City's Democratic mayoral primary.
Let's take a look at the latest numbers right now. Mamdani has about 43% of the vote, Cuomo with 36%, but the race is not officially over. The ultimate outcome will still be decided by ranked choice count, but Cuomo has already congratulated Mamdani. Christina Fan joins us live from City Hall with more. Christina.
Well, Chris and Mary, this is a stunning upset considering the fact that just a few months ago, very few people knew who Zoran Mamdani was, but the Democratic Socialist ran a grassroots campaign that really inspired younger voters with a promise of making the city more affordable and ended up dominating a vast field of contenders in the polls. An eruption of cheers as Zoran Mamdani took to the stage shortly after midnight, declaring himself the Democratic nominee for New York City mayor.
We have won because New Yorkers have stood up for a city they can afford.
The 33-year-old political upstart and member of the state assembly climbed his way up with a savvy social media strategy and progressive platform. He would be the city's first Muslim and Indian American mayor if elected, and has vowed to implement policies that would improve the cost of living, such as free buses and free childcare.
I will be the mayor for every New York.
Goddamn, so scary, bro. So scary. So scary. Hassan, you got to go back. There was a guy holding the China Daily paper behind the reporter. I don't care. It's fine. Let's keep going.
Whether you voted for me, for Governor Cuomo, or felt too disillusioned by a long, broken political system to vote at all.
Andrew Cuomo, the early frontrunner throughout a race that was his comeback bid after a sexual harassment scandal, called Mamdani to congratulate him. The former governor trailed his opponent by a significant margin in the first choice ballots and is now deliberating if he should stay in the race as an independent candidate.
Tonight was not our night. Tonight was Assemblyman Mamdani's night, and he put together a great campaign, and he touched young people and inspired them and moved them.
Mamdani. Brad Lander can't primary Torres. Jamal Bowman could, and also what's his name? The other dude, Michael Blake, right? I think his name is Michael Blake. He could. He's not in the district, but there are two people who potentially could. I think Jamal Bowman could, and also Blake could as well. And I'm working on that too. Don't worry. Hold on. What is this? Oh, Bill A. Packman says he has a candidate. Nice. I mean, these guys are fucking incredibly stupid. They have a lot of... Oh, Jesus Christ. What's funny about all of this, of course, for those of you who are just tuning in, obviously I jumped the gun a little bit and immediately started the celebrations rather than telling you what took place. But a couple months ago, you guys recall, I went and I talked to this brown Muslim socialist guy who was my age, 33 years old. His name is Zohran Kwame Mamdani, okay? New York State Assemblyman, coming out of nowhere, right? He had great ground game, great charisma. And at the time, I think he was around 10% to like 16% polling in second place. And he had a lot of promise. Most importantly, because he had a tremendous amount of momentum backing him and a real people-powered movement and some fantastic ideas. Modest social democratic expansions of the safety nets, modest social democratic reforms. But overall, it was great. Very progressive, unafraid of calling himself a socialist, and also unafraid of saying that Israel was an apartheid state doing a genocide. He had been an activist for quite a while, as a matter of fact, always on the right side of history. And last night, the tremendous efforts of thousands of New Yorkers and even a larger number of people who were calling in and phone banking from all around the country, it amounted to the former governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, who was the establishment favorite with $30 million dumped into the fucking primaries, mostly in attack ads against Zohran Mamdani. Zohran Mamdani was able to defeat former governor of New York, sex pest, cop rapist, Andrew Cuomo. Money, but they are incredibly stupid. So I don't think I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. They have a lot of money, but they're also incredibly stupid, like I said. Bill Ackman is working on something. We'll get to all that in a second. Let's just keep going.
And got them to come out and vote. And he really ran a highly impactful campaign.
On the Republican side, Curtis Sliwa, who...
Yeah, by the way, this is the Republican candidate for mayor, okay? Curtis Sliwa, who apparently, allegedly, according to Chi, has like 25 cats in his apartment, like an unsustainable amount of cats. Okay, I know there's a lot of cat lovers in the chat. You're gonna be like, Hassan, what do you got? What kind of beef do you have with cats? It's not necessarily a beef with cats. It's more so just how many cats he has. Like actually a crazy amount. He's also a psychotic fascist and once famously beat up a random person, like did a hate crime against a random person on Fox News, like while the Fox News cameras were on. He has he is just a truly insane person. But also this was really funny.
New video tonight of the moment Curtis Sliwa was hit by a taxi cab last week. You can see him getting hit, then falling to the ground near Radio City Music Hall. He gets up, walks off. The former Republican New York City mayoral candidate was running between cars and traffic as he was crossing the street.
Yep. No, I love cats, but you can't have fucking like 25 cats in a New York apartment, bro. I'm sorry. That's not allowed. That's not good for the cats. That's not good for the birds because you are not keeping track of all those cats. Some of those cats are outside cats, and those outside cats are probably running amok. Those outside cats are probably going crazy on the birds. Okay? There ain't no way. My New York cousin sent this to my mom about Zohran, who believed him. Bad guy, raging anti-Semite, raging anti-Zionist, a socialist candidate. He will destroy New York City. I cannot believe this is happening. I'm so upset. Every Jew is upset. We are so happy we don't own real estate in New York City anymore. I'm afraid for what the city will become. The inmates will be running the asylum. That's amazing. Dude, that is the funniest thing because, again, New York City, largest Jewish city on the planet, okay? More Jews in New York than Tel Aviv. They voted for Zohran overwhelmingly. The idea that, there is a real echo chamber amongst Zionists at this point, Zionist Jews specifically, that where they just like sit around and fantasize about like death and destruction coming their way, when most Jews are just like, yeah, this guy, I have New York concerns, I have New York problems, and this guy is going to solve them. I'm going to vote for him. Also, not exactly particularly fond of Israel either. You know what I mean? It's so funny. But like, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do to this? What do you do to this? Like, what do you do in that situation?
Ran unopposed, outlined his vision for the next 4 years.
Ever since we went back to the trifecta of Democrats, de Blasio, Cuomo, Adams, we've had corruption and chaos. It's time to return back on track to where we have peace.
Mayor Adams, who was running as an independent in November, chimed in on the preliminary results, posting in part on X, "What New York City deserves is a mayor who's proud to run on his record, not one who ran from his record or one who has no record." And both Senator Bernie Sanders and Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez endorsed Mamdani during the primaries and congratulated him last night for taking on and beating out the political establishment. Reporting live from City Hall, Christina Fan, CBS News, New York.
6:05, and for a look at some of the other results in the primary races for public advocate, incumbent Jumaane Williams is the projected winner with 71% of the vote. That's with 91% of the vote in.
For the Manhattan District Attorney, incumbent Alvin Bragg has 73% of the vote over Patrick Timmons.
In the race for city controller, there was no Democratic incumbent on the ballot, with Brent Lander running for mayor. Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine leading right now with 48%. City Council member Justin Brannan in.
Notably, Mamdani didn't thank either AOC nor Bernie. He didn't thank anyone other than his own immediate base of support. Like, what are you talking about? Guys, if you think the AOC endorsement was not a mover and shaker, you are oblivious to New York. You are oblivious to New York politics. AOC endorsement was massive. Okay, the idea that AOC's endorsement wasn't good is so spectacularly stupid. Please stop. You are looking at this from the outside, and you are trying to make different assessments. Okay. Like the idea that, the idea that like this wasn't a, like her voice in this wasn't significant, especially in New York. Like, you're crazy. She's like a fucking kingmaker. After today, she is an infinitely more important voice in both New York politics and maybe even national politics than any number of different, like, than fucking Bill Clinton, like a former president. Like, I get it. Everybody gets real fucking weird about AOC, but she was impactful in the moment that it mattered, okay? It's so strange. AOC's endorsement was massively impactful, and they timed it. They timed it for the most opportune moment, okay? That's what it was. I was fearful and worried about how quiet they were about this. But once she endorsed Chi, I was like, okay, thank God, it's over. Chatters are basically fucking fantasizing about this like alternative vision, okay? Yeah. AOC currently, according to Atlas Intel, has a higher net approval rating than Trump. Is Mamdani taller than you? No. It was an obvious win for her politically. Whether or not Mamdani wins, you give her credit for the bare minimum. No, perhaps. And I don't mean to sound like a fucking asshole, but don't you think I might know a little bit more than you on this issue? Why don't you ask someone who is on the ground, for example? Why don't you ask someone who is working within the ranks of New York City DSA, who has played a major role in, not myself, I'm saying, like, go ask someone that is on Zoran's team how they feel about this, and they will tell you a very different reality, okay? It's the same fucking attitude that people have when they were like, AOC is trying to be an opportunist and take a photo with Mahmoud Khalil. Mahmoud Khalil wanted her to be there, okay? Her people were behind the scenes working in real time with Mahmoud Khalil's team. I don't care if she's lost your fucking trust. It doesn't matter. Just stop making wrong assessments. I'm not saying like you have to say AOC is the person who carries the banner of socialism, okay? But you guys are behaving in this like very weird, you're behaving in a very weird fashion, okay? Stop. It's weird. It feels like parasocial the way some of you guys operate. It is kind of parasocial the way you guys operate, as a matter of fact. Calm down. You are looking at this from the outside without actually even making the proper assessment. You are all jubilant right now, but some poor intern at the ADL has to log every Zoran vote as a unique incident of anti-Semitism. Yeah. Not parasocial. They just don't got the info. The parasocial part is the hyper-focus on AOC as some great evil. I know. It was all the people that this happened already. This happened when I told you guys, calm down. AOC is 100% going to endorse Zoran. I promise you, she's going to do it right after the debate. And everybody was like, no, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And that just took place. That happened like not that long ago. That should have been a lesson learning moment for a lot of people. Okay? That should have been a lesson learning moment for a lot of people. Anyway, I can't even get through this without all this additional noise. Where were we? Non-USA resident. I have noticed people being weird about AOC. Is it because she's a powerful female? That certainly plays a role in it, but it doesn't matter. There's like additional reasons as well. Leftists are understandably very skeptical over elected representatives. Leftists are very skeptical of other leftists. We love sectarian infighting. We love minor ideological disagreements. And we let that get in the way of building large coalitions that will actually win power. All this stuff happens all the time. It's normal. It's a part of the fucking process. Part of the reason why I don't ride for one individual group and will defend PSL and DSA and numerous other groups, unless they're like weird fucking cults like the RevComs or whatever, is because of this reason. Okay? As part of the reason why, although I have my own tendencies, my own ideological leanings, I always say I'm a leftist, right? I'm more open-minded towards social democrats in America, for example, instead of immediately being antagonistic to them. Because I understand that everyone has their own fucking journey of learning and self-development. Okay?
Overnight, a 33-year-old progressive state legislator has pulled off a huge upset New York City's mayoral race, which may tell us something about the state of national politics here. Zoran Mamdani holds a large lead over former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, who conceded the primary but indicated he may just stay in this race. Jerika Duncan is here with more. Jerika, good morning. This is a huge upset, considering 4 months ago he was polling at 1%.
Absolutely, and there's more to come. Cuomo says that path forward could include running in the general election as an independent, but any way you look at it, last night was a bitter disappointment for the former governor, who was looking to complete a major political comeback after a series of sexual harassment allegations. Instead, it was Mamdani, a progressive Muslim American immigrant, who came out on top.
Thank you, my friends.
33-year-old Assemblyman Zoran Mamdani, a social media savvy, self-described democratic socialist, has ridden a wave of anti-establishment sentiment to a shocking victory.
I will be your Democratic nominee for the mayor of New York City.
Mamdani, who champions progressive causes like rent freezes and free bus rides paid for by taxing New York City's wealthiest, jumped out to an unexpected first-round lead Tuesday over 67-year-old former New York State Governor Andrew Cuomo. A member of one of New York's most powerful political families.
I had normie friends from Staten Island who were Trump voters vote for Zoran. Fantastic. That is what needs to be done. It's because he's anti-establishment. I think in this day and age, getting attacked by the Democratic elites unironically makes you look better for a lot of fucking Trump voters. It's the Bernie move. Okay? They see that and they go, oh, this guy must be a real one. Getting called vicious smears of anti-Semitism actually plays positively almost for a lot of people. Now, it's a unique dynamic because, like, obviously there are a lot of more moderate Democrats who will be afraid of that sort of thing. But I think Brad Lander played a key role in this as well. Bernie Sanders played a key role in this, but Brad Lander certainly played a key role in this by being like,